Hey everyone. Since I last recorded, I finished the Stillman and Byrne Alpha sketchbook that I had been working in. And when I was thinking about what to film today, it brought to mind that I heard a comment online about what is a sketchbook and are the sketchbooks flip-throughs that we see online, are they real? Or are they too curated? So I wanted to think for myself, a sketchbook, what I think of a sketchbook might be somewhere that you draw or practice skills, experiment, plan. And another thing that I think of it as is it could be a project book if I'm practicing skills and experimenting and planning. And I have a couple that I just have that are project books. So this is a book that I keep for some of the paintings that I do for real estate agents who have paintings done for house portraits. And that is something I keep separate. Also, I have this project book that I bound it myself when I was learning how to hand bound a hardcover book. And I did a few sketches in it, and then I started taking a class with Maru Godas. And one of the things that she did was these circle kind of things, almost like the grid that I had talked about before with the abstracts. And I had been canoeing, and I went ahead and did all of mine with a canoe theme. So that got me thinking. And in Procreate, I started to design some canoe patterns, and also designed, painted this and designed this lunar calendar for 2021. So this is all in 2021. It wasn't this year. I did a couple of gouache paintings. Then I did a whole other calendar with the moon. So one thing sort of led to another. So I would kind of think about this as a project book. Here's an example of my sketch, which I did on a very thin piece of paper. This is a printout of the actual painting that came from it. And this, hopefully it will be able to fit in. I took it down off my wall. It's one of my favorites. Sorry for the glare, but I do love this painting, and it's up on the wall in my studio. So that is what I would call a project book. The other thing that I keep, I have down here, I've got an art journal. So an art journal, for me, it could be a visual diary, daily-ish entries to document your life, your ideas. And I was thinking that for me, my sketchbook to practice skills and experiment, and art journal, visual diary are always, like not always, a lot of times the same thing. So if we're going through one of these sketchbooks, you can see me practicing for a bigger painting, sketching out, trying different things, looking at color schemes, trying things out, writing down the classes that I'm taking, probably writing down about what's going on in my life at the time. And so it's quite varied. And here's another example of that. Very random kind of books. So this is what I would typically call a sketchbook. And then the other thing that I think about is, so here's another one that I would call a sketchbook, but then I get to things like this. When I don't have something in my idea to paint, sometimes I go on a little bit of a theme in here. And now this book, I painted quite a few book covers that I liked. So that brings me to another type of journal that I'm keeping, which is a themed sketchbook. I have some theme sketchbooks and some artists' books. So my theme sketchbooks, I think I'll show you those today. And if I run out of time, I'll do the artist books the next video for next week. But for my themed sketchbooks, I've got quite a few. And I think these are the ones that we often start thinking it would be really cool to have a whole book about one thing, and then we give up. Those are a lot of the empty page sketchbooks on my shelf. So I'm going to pause here and grab my themed sketchbook pile and show you, actually, before I grab them, I'll show you my shelf where I keep the different sketchbooks. So on my top shelf, I have my, what I would call artist books. So they're books that I created and made as a piece of art in a book format. Plus my brushes over there in the rainbow paper mache. So that's on the top shelf, that's what I have. I've got a few of those. The next shelf down, I have my regular sketchbooks, journals, art journals, whatever you want to call them. They're dated and I have them in order. The next shelf down are my themed sketchbooks. So some of them have only a few pages in them. Some of them are completed. I'll show you while I'm here. On the next shelf down, I have some blank sketchbooks. And below that, I have some artist sketchbooks that are recreated. So I've got printouts of those, or copies of books of those. And on the very bottom shelf, I have a lot of art books, but I can't tilt it down that way, so I'll show you those afterwards. So as far as themed sketchbooks go, you have seen this one. This is the one I'm currently working on for my 100-day project. I have one that is portrait, one that is landscape size. So those are themed around this 100-day project that I'm currently working on. I showed you this in one of the videos. I painted the front with abstract composition that I had created. And this is just a sketchbook around the theme of abstract paintings. That might be it. A lot of times that's just something that I like to do just for fun while I'm waiting for something else to dry. This is a sketchbook about finding joy, so little things in my day that bring me joy. I've got one that was from August 2020, all with each page is a landscape. Some of them I quite like. I have one that is 27 Days of Gratitude with just a pen and some things, in mostly writing. This is one all about March break, or April break, when it was changed to April in 2021. And again, I liked this sort of black and white look, and I made that myself. I did this, was all about winter finches. Created this about myself to learn as or I guess to paint as I learned about the finches that come in the winter only. I have a travel sketchbook. So each trip gets another section. And I can see that as I go, I get better. This one is my continuous line drawing sketchbook. So this is something that I do every day-ish now, usually on my lunchtime or on a break, or if I have just a couple of minutes, I'm using a fountain pen and one continuous line. Some of them you can see that I've taken a bit more time and gone slow, and you can tell what it is. Other times I added color, which I decided not to do that again. Some of them are a little bit more scribbly, but I really enjoy that because it can't be perfect. So it's kind of stress-free and helps me be mindful in the moment, and tried out a different pen. But I think I'm going back to the fine tip again, and helps me be in the moment, helps me just focus and forget about what's going on in the day for just a few minutes. And I think it will help me get better at drawing what I can see. This one is a pattern sketchbook, so different patterns that I came up with. This one is, I don't even know what to call this, but it was by month. I did this in 2020. So I started in September and I did the moon phases, the weather, high and low temperature in Celsius, different places I might have been or gone, or things that happen in the news and in my life, and in politics, different things that are happening. This was during the lockdown of the pandemic, thinking about my roots that did not get done for a long time. And then this was April, so 2 years ago from now. In the back of this, I have different leaves, a collection of leaves. So I was collecting the leaves in a hardcover book and pressing them, and then I started to paint those. So that is another theme. This theme was every day, something that I heard in the news and a different bird. So this was when I was learning about birds, and each day, something that I heard in the news and a bird. This one is a perpetual journal. So I learned about this from Laura Call Gastinger. She's a botanical illustrator, and she does a perpetual journal with all different plants. Nathaniel T. Wheelwright is a biologist and author of the book, The Naturalist's Notebook, and it comes with a 5-year journal, and he does everything. So anything that is in nature, the changes that you see each year. So I'm going to go to the last couple of weeks. So in 2022, the first song sparrow of spring I saw on the 14th. In 2023, I saw the first song sparrow, April 9th. Different plants that are in bloom, different things that are happening. This is in one day, the different birds that I saw, and I had a tick on me, so that was not a happy day. More birds. So I've written them down here. And when I have a minute, I may go back and illustrate some of them if I haven't done them already. And so each year, some of them I have from 2020, but I had gone back in other journals and gone through them and written things down. But mostly I started this in 2021, and I've got 2022, and now this year I'll do 2023. Some of the pages are not done at all, so I must have been busy in these weeks or just didn't see anything new. But over a time span of 5 years or so, I'm guessing that it will get filled up. And I really thought about this when one of the days we had so much pollen, it came in through the doors and was all over the tables. And it made me wonder, does that happen every year? Or is it just that year that was particularly bad? So that's the perpetual journal that I'm working on now. And I think I have another one that is patterns with something that uses the same colors. And these are, I think I used acrylic ink on some of these. And some other things got put in there as well. So maybe that's not really a theme journal. So the next video, next week, I will talk about the artist's books, and maybe anything else that I have, that maybe the books that I have that help to inspire me. And that's it. So hopefully that wasn't too long and you got something out of it. And thank you to everyone who is watching and commenting. It's really cool to see so many people are watching. So thank you so much. And that's it for now. I will record again next week and upload on Sunday. Thank you.